Welcome to Based on a Book, the podcast serving dread, unease, and the terror of the cursed childhood toy in your room. I'm Keri, your host for today's episode, attempting to protect you from a diabolical monkey.
I'm Lindsey, and I think I know the way. Just don't let go of my arm.
And I'm Crystal. This shit is exactly why I'm scared of the dark.
September is for Stephen King to celebrate his upcoming birthday, which should be soonish with when this episode is released. And my Stephen King pick is The Monkey, which is a short story originally published in 1980 in Gallery Magazine, but then published in 1985 in the story collection or short story collection that we know today as Skeleton Crew. And we are covering its recent 2025 adaptation starring Theo James. I love Theo James. But I would like to note before the 2025 film, it was originally made in 2022 under one of Stephen King's Dollar Baby contracts, which is actually pretty cool. But eventually it was taken on by Osgood Perkins to write and direct the film, who also did Longlegs and Gretel and Hansel. Have you guys seen Longlegs?
I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to.
Yeah, well, I know Crystal hasn't seen it, but I was wondering if Lindsey had seen it.
It's on my list.
Yeah, it looks freaky.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really freaky.
Nicolas Cage looks crazy. I love it.
Yeah, I think that one looks interesting. I kind of want to watch that now. But The Monkey, the one that we're covering today, follows a man named Hal and his experience with a wind-up monkey toy and how it brought death and destruction into his life. And he literally cannot get rid of it because it just won't go away or keeps reappearing back into his life. And that's all I'm going to say about it. So let's get into our ratings. And this is our book ratings of just the short story, not the movie, just the short story from the Skeleton Crew collection. So I'm going to start with Lindsey, our horror queen here. What did you think of the book?
So for this one, I gave it 3.5 toilet brushes.
Nope. Not toilet brushes.
I liked the story. I thought the relationship between the main character and his older son was a little strained. It was a little interesting. But overall, I did enjoy the story.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about you, Crystal?
I don't know what the hell just happened. I'm not gonna lie. I think I give this 3 haunted heirlooms, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that. I was jumping between a 2.5 and 3 monkeys.
That's where, yeah, I'm like,
I'm sitting in that range. I feel like a 3 is a little generous. I'm kind of leaning more towards a 2.5. I didn't really love this short story that much. I'm actually I feel like I'm a little surprised that if you see the cover of the collection, there's a monkey on the cover, so it kind of feels like this is the main story of this collection, which
right.
feels very shocking to me personally. I haven't read all the stories in this short story collection, but I have read The Mist, and I don't know. I feel like there was something lacking a lot from this short story.
I did love, like, I didn't, like, you guys told me to read The Monkey, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I did not research which collection it was in or anything like that. I just, like, quickly, like, looked it up and downloaded it onto my Kindle. And I am super, like, I felt transported back to the 80s. So I feel like, which I think is kind of really interesting with Stephen King, because we have read some of his stuff that he set in the 80s, and most recently with The Life of Chuck, which is set in present time, and yet he still manages to really embody the era that the story is written in,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is really neat. I didn't have to know that this was written in the 80s to know that this was to feel like I was in the 80s. It just had that vibe. There was nothing in particular that gave that away, but it was things like, the brothers going to get popsicles, or, the phone call, somebody calling on the phone or whatever. Like, it just felt right.
And the popsicles only cost a nickel.
I know, right? Kind of made me want a blueberry popsicle.
I don't think it's gonna be a nickel.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say that this was like a bad story, but it wasn't. I don't know. I think the only reason I'm leaning more towards 3 personally is that I have it has stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
It has left me thinking, and there were definitely moments, especially towards the end, where I found myself kind of holding my breath, and I liked that. But that was really
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it definitely had like, I didn't feel nothing about it. And I think that's why I struggle with my rating as well, where it's like when I go on the lower end, it's usually because I'm not feeling anything about it, but that
Mhm.
wasn't true for this. There was definitely like an unsettling thing about this story,
Mhm.
and there was definitely moments where like I was like feeling like creeped out by what was happening.
For sure.
So, and if that's like happening in the story, it's doing something to you. It's having some type of effect on you, which is good in my opinion. But now that we set our ratings of the book, we should go ahead and get into our full spoilers of our book versus movie breakdown. So, this is your warning because from this point on, we are going to be getting into some serious spoilers of the short story and the 2025 adaptation. So, if you have not read or watched it, do that. Come back to join us in the discussion, or stick around if you don't mind the spoilers to see if this is something you may be interested in. Before we continue, just know that this is a rated R horror comedy adaptation. It's gruesome, it's gory, and it's dark. So be mindful of that before watching it or reading the story. So, getting right into it, the book and the movie are extremely different in several ways. Honestly, when I watched the movie, so I read the book, watched the movie, actually went back and read the book again, or the short story again, because I was like, wait a minute. Like, do you guys ever like when you watch the adaptation, you almost like change in your mind, like, wait, did that actually happen in the book? And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's how it happened in the book. And then I read it and I'm like, wait, that's not how it happened in the book, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I'll like change my mind on it.
So earlier today, you asked us to keep in mind what our favorite kills might be.
Hmm.
And I had not watched the movie at that point. And so I was thinking of like, oh, from the book, I think, well, maybe this one, maybe that one, whatever. And then I watched the movie right off the bat. I was like, within like, I don't know, the first 3 minutes, I'm like, that wasn't in the book, but that might be my favorite one.
Yeah. And then there's more
And
and
then there's
more.
more and more. And
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
also, I guess I just outed myself for not watching the movie until the very last minute, but what
Hey,
else?
you watched the movie. That's all that matters.
There you go.
So, first thing different, the movie takes on the original ideas of the book but expands it to a much more elaborate and dynamic plot, in my opinion. There are characters that are more significant that are just touched on in the book. Both are focused on Hal, which is our main character, or you could say that's our main character, Hal's perspective, but we are getting a much bigger picture of what's going on. Perkins, the director and screenwriter, talked about how his intention when making this movie from the story was capturing the essence of Stephen King, but still wanting to like shake up the story with their interpretation. The book almost, like, in my opinion, the book almost feels like it's like being pitched as an idea for a movie. Like, it doesn't feel completely solid.
Complete.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel completely solid to me. So, literally, Perkins said, "I took liberties like a motherfucker," wanting to also reshape the story with his own experience with death. And Stephen King had no notes for him and didn't tell him to change anything. So he took liberties like a motherfucker and made it into his own thing. But I think still captured the essence of Stephen King like his intentions were, because I feel like the comedy aligned with how Stephen King was. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. The whole concept is it's a toy. I
Mhm.
mean, and to avoid being too much like Annabelle, where you have a haunted toy, I mean, comedy route is the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that. I don't know that I would say that it was the comedy that embraced the spirit of Stephen King so much as the buildup of anxiety, like the when you know a kill is coming and you're just like waiting for it to just happen. Like
Mhm.
that buildup was definitely there in this movie, just like Stephen King is really, really good at kind of building that momentum right before a kill. And that I don't even know, like that grip on your heart, like where you're holding your breath. That was definitely there in this movie. Even with the comedy, you still got that,
Yeah.
which I feel like that's a really hard balance to strike. But I was definitely like waiting for it to happen so many times in this movie.
Mhm. Yeah, like we said, the tones are completely different. The movie, it takes a dark comedy approach, and the book is a little more dreadful, like recalling his past. Both are bleak, but one has like a funny edge to it. You know, Perkins was originally approached with a script that was dark and sad, but he wanted to reshape it, going his own direction. I actually really love this quote from Perkins discussing the tone shift in his interview with Empire. He said, "I spent a lot of my life recovering from tragedy, feeling quite bad. It all seemed inherently unfair. You personalize the grief. Why is this happening to me? But I'm older now, and you realize this shit happens to everyone. Everyone dies, sometimes in their sleep, sometimes in truly insane ways, like I experienced, but everyone dies. And I thought maybe the best way to approach that insane notion is with a smile." And like that theme is continued throughout this movie, which is kind of, like I said, a completely different tone in this short story. The next thing that's completely different, there's a lot more deaths in the movie versus the book. A lot more deaths. And
So
we're
many.
we're going Final Destination style on this bitch. And it gets absolutely insane. And we're going to get into all that. Next big difference between these are the different monkeys. Monkeys have a difference in them where in the book they're like they feel like this, like the classic like wind up cymbal
Yeah.
monkey,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the one in the movie actually has drums instead of cymbals. And personally, I like the one in the movie more because I feel like it's almost a little more suspenseful in my opinion. Like the winding up, and it almost feels like it just looks better
Yeah.
on screen, and they have these moments where it's like lifting of the arm and you don't know when it's going to come down type of thing. I like that better. What did you guys think? Did you guys like that better in the book or the movie?
I liked the way the drumstick would spin,
Yeah.
Yes, it was so good. I love that.
but I
I
really was expecting symbols.
Yeah.
I was expecting the symbols. It kind of at first I was like, wait, am I watching? I know there's a couple of different versions. Am I watching the right one? You know, like
Mhm.
that moment of wait, that's different. But yeah, there's something about that extra added like suspense of raising up the arm and then the drumstick spins and
Yeah,
then you
when's it
hear
going
it
to
kind of
come
click.
down?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into exactly like how these stories begin. In the book, we start with a man named Hal going through some things in his aunt's attic who died, and he's with his wife and sons, and one of his sons finds a toy monkey in the attic. And this toy, like I said, described to be a wind-up monkey with symbols that clap. Hal is immediately freaking out, absolutely
Hmm.
flabbergasted that this monkey is here because it should be disposed of, thrown down in this well on the property. It's impossible for it to be in his son's hands right now. And then the story continues with Hal's perspective of having flashbacks between his past and present, and like how this monkey has given him absolute hell and how it's evil and like terrorized him. In
Hmm.
the movie, we start with Adam Scott.
I love Adam Scott.
Yeah. Honestly, and I didn't, going
I
in
did not
blind.
expect this. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's only in it for like a very short moment, one scene
I
at the
was
very
kind of
beginning.
disappointed. I wanted
Yeah.
Adam Scott,
Yeah.
but also that was kind of perfect.
Yeah, he's not in there for very long, but we start with Adam Scott. He's bringing this monkey into a pawn shop, and he's like, "Look, I'm trying to sell this thing right now. I need to get rid of this." And in the movie, the monkey, like I said, is a little different and much larger than I expected. Very big
Big.
toy monkey. Like we said, has drums instead of cymbals. The person working there is like, it's broken. We're not buying this. And Adam Scott is like, yeah, don't fix it or we're all fucked. Okay. So just leave it and just take it away from me. The monkey makes a noise. The guy at the pawn shop is dunzo. Okay. Final Destination style. Like, this is literally what it reminds. Like, it's like, when I say Final Destination style, I'm thinking like the craziest way that you could possibly die from like circumstances around you, and that's how you die.
Hmm.
That's what
It's
I
like
mean when I say Final Destination
it's
style.
like freak accident falls into perfect circumstance with like the most like lowest
Disturbing.
probability
Yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
and that's how they die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately, right off the bat, extremely gory. And, Adam Scott all of a sudden is trying to burn this monkey. And then it turns into we're moving forward in the story. We don't see Adam Scott again. And we're following two boys who are twins and their mom. And they're talking about how their dad is gone. And they're going through their dad's things and find the monkey. And this is where the flashbacks in the book do start to align with what's going on in the movie, except we're like the story, the timeline is starting when they're young, but in the book it's like they're just Hal is just thinking back to those moments and then still being present with the monkey in his possession at that
I
moment.
will say in the book that was actually a little bit difficult for me. I
Mhm.
have a hard time keeping track of characters, especially in short stories where they're introduced quickly. And so it was hard to tell necessarily when we were in a flashback and then back. Like I had to really pay very close attention as I was reading. Okay, we're flashing back now. This is not him and his kids. This is him and his brother. And
Mhm.
it was kind of difficult for me to keep track of at first. I don't know. I love
Yeah, there really
flashbacks, but
was no clear transition sometimes. Sometimes we were just back in the past.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I totally agree with that. uh,
I need a better warning. Like I need you to say 25 years earlier or whatever. I need you to do that for me, okay?
yeah, in both the book and the movie we have these brothers, Hal and Bill, who are pulled into this curse that their father was dealing with as well, where they wind up this monkey and immediately someone is dying. In the book, like we said, we have adult Hal recalling this curse, thinking back to when he first winded up the monkey, witnessing these deaths around him, and just feeling like he's going insane. The
Because
way
it's
it's
just a
told,
toy.
yeah, it almost feels, in my opinion, too casual to me. Like sometimes there would be suspenseful moments, but it feels very like, this is just what happened.
I feel like in the book, especially like in the very, very, very beginning, when they're going through Aunt Ida's stuff and his sons find the monkey, he's trying to keep his cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying not to like lose it on his kids right there. And so I think that that's a lot of this was delivered in very casual tone because he's still trying to keep himself calm.
Yeah. And like
He's
in
still
denial almost.
right, because it's just a toy. There's no way this could be reality,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, for sure. In the movie, personally, I like this timeline a lot better. Also, it feels like it's a lot more brutal. And if you're like a horror lover, and you probably might think this is a little more entertaining. Personally, I thought it was a little more entertaining.
Mhm.
First time winding up the key, Monkey triggers their babysitter's death, which was absolutely insane.
But we all
That
knew
was
there
that
was
was
so much
crazy.
like suspense to it too because like we know that the monkey's drumming in the car,
Mhm.
but like they don't know the monkey's drumming because they're all inside.
And
So
the and
we
the monkey's sitting in that front seat, and
in
he's,
the
like,
front
looking
seat.
over like, the way that they were filming this monkey and, like, letting the monkey have its moment. You know what
Uh-huh.
I mean? Letting the monkey have its shot and its moment in specific scenes where
For a
it's
character
by
that's
itself.
yeah, the character says no words, no lines. This monkey has no lines and
And
it was a
he nailed it.
star. Yeah,
He nailed it.
it's amazing.
Yeah, his eyes over that steering wheel really scared me.
Mhm.
That I don't like it. I didn't like its smile, and I
Its
didn't like
weird
its
ass
eyes.
grin with all of its teeth like
Yeah, looking
like
like human teeth.
Mm-hmm.
it's so
Yeah.
creepy.
Did you guys catch the name of the babysitter in the movie?
No, I didn't.
Her name's Annie Wilkes.
I
Oh, I just got chills.
love all these tiebacks. Stephen King is so good at that kind of stuff.
Well,
I
no,
don't
that was in the movie. That was Perkins. That was Osgood Perkins.
Mhm.
Oh.
Because her name was different in the book.
What was her name in the book?
I want to say Beulah.
Yeah, she was like a completely different character in
Yeah.
the book. That literally gave me chills.
I am loving this. Like, the more we watch, you know, a lot of these scary movies that I never watch, the more we read just any of these genres, these authors, like, I'm starting to start pay attention to a lot of those connections, a lot of
Mhm.
those like callbacks, and I love it.
Yeah, it's good. So, Hal is, younger Hal, in the movie, is kinda catching on to this and really hates his brother. His brother is a dick.
Uh-huh.
His brother Bill is the worst. And
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, like, every time I was like, "Can you shut up, little
Mm-hmm.
kid? Like, you're being crazy." Like, the things that he was saying was absolutely insane. And, like, Hal gets to a point, like, he gets so angry that he hopes to kill his brother with this monkey. Like, just,
Mm-hmm.
like, has, like, a moment of, like, hitting an edge because he's also, like, being bullied at school and stuff. And winds it up, like, and he's ready, like, hoping to have it that his brother dies and accidentally kills his mom instead. And this is when we find out that you don't get to decide who the monkey is gonna kill. Like, the monkey's gonna do whatever it wants. Um, and so Hal also attempts to continue to get rid of it, which is also shown in the book. Hal attempting to get rid of it and it just appearing again. There was one point in the movie where he's like hacking it to pieces and there's like almost like blood coming out
Yeah.
of it.
It's like bleeding something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's even like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
There's
so
even
gross.
yeah, it was disturbing. And like when their mom dies, they have to go to their aunt and uncle's house. And this point in the movie, I'm sorry, but this was hilarious. When he is trying to explain to Bill that, like, this is what this monkey is doing, and Bill, like, doesn't really believe him. And then it immediately next scene is the next funeral because, like, Bill had winded up and their uncle had died. And it's like immediate the way that that was shot was literally cracking me up.
And another one of those deaths that's just like, what the
Ridiculous.
hell?
Like a stampede over him in like a sleeping bag or something.
That
And
was
yeah,
gross.
they're, like, crazy deaths, and I think his mom had died of, like, some like insane like
1 in a
aneurysm.
4 million chance of her dying of this kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we eventually get to this breaking point when they're younger, after so many deaths in the book and movie, that Hal throws it down a well in hopes that it won't show up again. And this at this point in like the book and movie, because we're going through the flashbacks and they're kind of doing the different timeline in the movie. The book and movie go off the rails. We got two different stories at this point. At this point in the story, because this also, the book is only 30 pages, I think a little over 30 pages, and I think it's totally fine that they're going in their own paths, because I mean, we gotta make it
Yeah.
a little more exciting for our eyes sometimes
Mhm.
when we're watching it on screen. So in the book, we're kind of wrapping up the story at this point, because like I said, it's only over 30 pages, where Hal is encountering this monkey now in his adult life, having flashbacks of how this curse started, watching his sons encounter this monkey and wanting to stop this curse on his family. His sons are even afraid of this, and they talk about how terrifying it is just for it to make a sound, because if you wind it up, or if it just makes a small sound, it can cause death. This prompts Hal to try to get rid of it once and for all, dumping the monkey in the deepest part of a lake in a bag weighted with rocks, and disposes of it.
This part in the book, they come up with the idea to dispose of it, and Hal sends Petey out into the parking lot to get really big rocks, and he's watching him from the window, and he just knows that the monkey's going to do something, and that's
Mhm.
why he's holding the toilet brush. I remember reading this part, I was like, oh, this is pretty intense. But he's holding
Mhm.
the toilet brush, and the monkey starts to clap his cymbals, and he blocks it with the toilet brush as he sees this car coming for his son, Petey. And basically, he learns that he was able to prevent it by stopping the cymbals from clapping, and it burns the toilet brush too. So I thought
And
that
this
was
is
really cool.
like, seriously, this is the suspense that like was building in this moment. Like, that's when I really started just like, okay, I'm gonna have to really like
Lock in.
lock in, because it's
Yeah.
getting and then they're out and he's like rowing out in the lake to get rid of this, and then like his son is screaming from the shore, and the storm is like building, and like and then he's trying to row back, and the boat's falling apart, and I was dying. I was
Yeah.
dying. This is why I think this is closer to a 3. Is
Mhm.
just the suspense and the anxiety I was feeling in this last bit.
Yeah. Even like the scary parts of like the fact that he was waking up with like cuddling the monkey
This
in the
monkey's
book.
creepy as shit.
Yeah, in the book, I was like, "Oh my god," I would literally panic, and I just
Yes.
know, like, the fur is just, like, weird, and it just, like, scares me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. The eyes are freaky, the mouth is freaky, the fur is freaky. I
It's
don't
stalkery.
It stalks you. I don't like it.
And then
I
when he
don't like
dropped
it.
it into the bag and the symbol hits the rock and it manages to kill the fly that's in the room.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
mm-mm.
It's pretty
Mm-mm.
honestly, now that I talk about it more, it was pretty good. That was pretty good.
It cursed toys, man. It's creepy as all
Yeah.
shit.
But like we said, tries to get rid of it. Boat is breaking apart as he's trying to get rid of it, but eventually gets back safely. And then eventually he does hear the symbols as it's going down into the lake. He or thinks he hears them. But then, gets rid of it, and then we get at the end of the story a little like newspaper clipping saying that hundreds of fish had died in the lake,
And
what we
local
assume is the
scientists are
result.
baffled.
Yeah, and that's just how the story ends in the book. Going back to the movie from now on,
It's so
we
fucked up.
yeah. Oh my god, it's so fucked. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I really like this movie. Like honestly, at first I was like, that was crazy. That was really weird. But then I was like, okay, that was actually kind of good. I kind of liked it. What did you guys like it, or did you guys like no? Was like, yeah, I liked it. Crystal's like,
No,
no.
no. I will
I
never
know.
watch that again, and I will not probably be recommending it to anyone other than to be like, y'all want to watch something really fucked up? Like, that would be it. That would
Yeah.
be, it's so weird. And like, I get the comedy of it, I do,
Mhm.
but I'm also just like, I don't, I don't get it, but I get it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one.
Yeah. So
It's the
we move away.
cheerleaders for me.
Oh my
I'm so
god,
much.
I can't wait to I wanted to talk about that.
Well, we're there now. We're heading to
Yeah.
Aunt Ida's house, so
Yeah.
that's the first cheerleaders
Yeah.
standing in her yard.
Yeah, so we move away from the flashbacks that are now following adult Hal 25 years later, played by Theo James, who is very different than the Hal that we know in the book. So the Hal in the book, he was married, he had 2 kids, he was doing everything to, you know, get this monkey out of their life, all this stuff. In the movie, he is not with his wife. He only has 1 kid who is his teenage son, Petey, that he sees once a year, and we are immediately in his perspective, seeing his life where his ex is now with Frodo Baggins,
Right? I was
Elijah
like,
Wood.
why is there a hobbit in this movie?
With Frodo, who wants to adopt his son and basically cut Hal out of his son's life. Basically, Hal is really down in the dumps right now, and from what I know, basically because I've read the book, I'm assuming this is because he doesn't want whatever curse that he has on his life
To
near
affect
his
his, yeah,
son.
yeah. That's how I took it.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't want he only sees his son once a year. He doesn't want to particularly be very involved in his life, but he's still upset that they're trying to cut him completely out of his life. Before they move forward with doing all that, Hal spends time with his son going away for the weekend. And then while they're away, his Hal's brother Bill from their past, like they haven't spoken to each other in a really long time. And they're
Who's
twins.
still a dick.
Yeah, who's still a jerk, and they're twins. For some reason I forgot they were twins.
They're
Were
not
they
twins in the
twins in?
book.
Yeah, I don't think they were twins in the book.
They're not twins in the book, but I forgot they were twins while I was watching the movie. Especially because we are hearing Theo James like narrating certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes Bill is saying something and
Mm-hmm.
narrating something. And it's not Hal, but we're only hearing Theo James's voice.
Right.
And it was messing with me. But
Yes.
so Bill, his brother, calls Hal while they're away, and he hasn't heard from him in so long, saying that their aunt had a freak accident. And he's like, the monkey is back. Because, if there's a freak accident, that means the monkey's back. This freak accident was absolutely insane.
This is Final Destination too.
This is Final Destination. This really is.
And
Like,
again, the suspense.
like tripping, falling, getting fish hooks in your face, then trying to put peroxide in, blowing up, fire in your face from the gasoline on the stove, running out, freaking out, fire in your face, and immediately being impaled in the face by like the wood of a mailbox. It was like the worst things that could ever happen happening in like 5 seconds.
Also, who caused it to happen?
She heard something in the basement.
But was
And
it the monkey?
I was
have been.
assuming the monkey.
But
had
who
to
had
have
the
been.
monkey?
It just appears. It randomly appears places.
But who turned the key?
But who turned the key? I think Bill already had the monkey at this
Ooh.
point.
It was at the estate sale.
I think
Yeah,
the
'cause-
estate sale was a flashback.
No,
No,
the
right
estate sale was
after-
the day after she died.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
right
right.
after they have an estate sale, and the monkey is being sold at the estate sale. And a character, we don't know who this character is, purchases the monkey and takes it.
Takes it to Bill.
Takes it to Bill, that we find out later.
So who turned the key?
Who turned the key to kill Aunt Ida?
We don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if she turned it herself. If she was like, what's this old thing? And then it didn't work, so she put it in the basement. Oh, but it never kills the person who turns the key.
Mm-mm.
Or maybe we're wrong. Who
Yeah.
knows?
So at this point, you know, with the freak accident happening, and Hal's like, there's no way the monkey is back because I threw it down a well. It should not be back. There's no way. And then he witnessed this one was freaking nuts. Because he's at a motel, right? With his son. He's on the phone. He's like, there's no way this monkey is back. And then he witnesses literally a woman exploding to pieces at the motel.
Okay, but that's not how it happened. Like, the air conditioning unit fell off of
Yeah.
the roof of the building.
Yeah, that was
Which-
I was summarizing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this is the final destination part. It falls
Yeah.
off the building. It's almost hits Hal, but it doesn't. And he's like takes a sigh of relief, but then it sparks, and it like the electricity is still active, and it hits the water, which is running into the pool. And then she just happens to dive into the pool. It's just so final destination. It's insane.
Yeah.
All of these are like that.
And explodes, like, completely, like,
He gets hit in the
missing.
face with a leg. A whole leg.
When he says, "Is that a leg?" I lost it.
Doesn't
I
he
know.
spit out? He spits out something. Because something got in his mouth.
Probably
Something
blood.
Something gets in his mouth a lot. In this
He does that with
Oh, the other one.
other-
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. We'll get to that. We're about to get to
God.
that. Yes. I'm
All
thinking
of
of the
these
other
are
one.
so bad.
Yeah. And so he witnesses that. He's like, we gotta go. We gotta go. He wakes up Petey. Like, first of all, he takes a pillow. He's just, like, screaming into it. And then he takes Petey and he's like, we gotta go. And you know what I can't stand? I understand we have a strained relationship with our son. But I cannot stand when we have the kid, teenager, whatever, who won't get with the program when we gotta go, go, go. Okay. And they're too busy questioning everything, being down in the dumps about it. I'm like, dude, save this for another day. Save it for another day. Like, we're trying to go. I know I lied to you about my whole life. I know I lied to you about my whole life, but we're like literally.
But I need you to believe me now.
Yeah, I need you to believe me right now because we're on a mission at this moment. And
He doesn't
gotta
even
find
know about the
something.
lie yet.
Yeah. And like, well, I mean, like, he just like doesn't trust anything from his father because he knows that his father is about to just, leave and not see him anymore, which I get, but it's just like, I'm gonna need you to just
All
things are
teenagers
happening.
suck. It's just how it is.
Eventually, so they get to the aunt's house because, remember, Bill's like, and we gotta get this monkey. But he's, sending him on a stupid chase for no reason because the monkey's already gone. Eventually getting to the aunt's house looking for the monkey, even hearing from the real estate agent that he's talking to that there have been like lots of deaths happening in town. So he's like, okay, the monkey's definitely back.
She's so chipper talking about all these freak deaths.
Yeah. And then she dies while showing the house from a falling shotgun. Dies, and I think that's when the thumb gets in his mouth and he spits it out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then here's Petey, the whiny teenager. I'm like, dude, get with the program, please. We are on a mission. But eventually, Hal and his son Petey learn that Bill, Hal's brother, twin brother, lives in town and has the monkey. And then when it switches in the movie to Bill, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they're twins. I really did. And I was like, that's Theo James with black hair. Weird.
Creepy.
It literally, and he's just like, and I was watching these interviews about Theo James like doing these characters and having to do like twins like that and how he acts as Hal versus how he acts as Bill, and acting as Hal and being like, not so driven in his actions, much more like timid in his actions. And then, with Bill, he's like very much like, I'm just go, 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 doing whatever I want kind of thing. And I was like, I can't imagine how you have to play two different characters reacting to each other in the same scenes, in the same moments. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. So eventually we find out that he hired someone to come and get the monkey during the aunt's estate sale, using the monkey as retaliation. And Bill is just sitting there winding up this monkey, causing deaths all over the place. And he's doing this because he's suspected from when they were kids, when their mom died, that it was Hal winding the key in hopes to kill him. And Bill has also figured out whoever winds up the monkey doesn't die. So he's just winding up the monkey and just waiting until his brother dies. He's like, okay, he didn't die. Wind it up again. Wind it up again. That's literally what he's doing. So at this point, this is where I'm kind of like, in my opinion, like losing the plot. Like it's losing my attention a little bit.
Yeah.
Where Bill wants Petey to come wind up the monkey. And if he doesn't, then Bill will just keep doing it until the monkey eventually kills Hal, regardless of how many people die. Like, I'm not really understanding why Petey is being forced to do this. Like, what the purpose is.
I think his, because Bill's crazy at this point. And I think that his thought was, since Hal wound it up and it killed his parent, Hal's parent, then maybe if Petey winds it up, it'll kill Petey's parent.
Ew.
That's kind of how I was thinking it. But also, it might just have been Bill being crazy and just wanting to torture his brother through his son,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But Petey is forced to go into the house by this random guy that Bill had hired to get the monkey in the first place. And that guy's death is crazy, too. With the bees or the wasps
That had me messed up.
all flying in just into his mouth. That freaked me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's forced to go in the house where Bill is, and Hal goes in to save him, and eventually leads to the monkey drumming to the point of causing, like, chaos in this town and, like, widespread death.
There were, like, meteors falling. I thought that one was a plane crash. There were bodies falling out of the sky.
Like, falling on them.
That was wild.
It was insane.
Earlier in the movie, Petey had pulled out a brochure and it was like skydiving, and he was like, "Oh, and they do weddings."
They do weddings.
And then the bride falls through.
Yep. Yeah.
Put that together. Thank you, Lindsay.
That was good.
Oh, Lord.
But then Bill and Hal have this moment, like, let's give up on this fight and forgive each other for all the hell that we've been through. We both lost our mother, and let's deal with this together. Even though, like, all this chaos is happening around them, they have a cursed monkey on their hands, but they're like, let's, forgive and forget. Everything's fine. Hal lifts Bill up, and then Bill is immediately decapitated by a bowling ball. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then the movie wraps up with Hal and Petey driving through town with this monkey in the back seat. And
I don't understand. So I need this. So they're driving away.
Yeah.
They're at the stoplight. And then there's like a ghost horse thing.
The horseman, Death, the pale rider on the pale horse.
Okay. I was like, where? But why?
Because they both quoted it earlier in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. It just seems so, like, of all the, like, and don't get me wrong, this movie is full of random, but that to me was one of the most random moments, because I was just like, huh?
Yeah, honestly, I agree. That was pretty random. And then Hal's like, let's go dancing, because that's what his mom did. And that's just kind of how it ends, with some decapitated cheerleaders to top it off at the end. I am curious, we mentioned this earlier, what your favorite death was in the movie, or the one that was like maybe the most unsettling, or the one that stuck with you guys the most.
For me in the movie, it was the very first one, the harpoon.
Yeah,
the guy, the pawn shop guy. Yeah,
that was crazy. What about you, Lindsay?
Probably Uncle Chip and the horse stampede.
That was so
Yeah.
messed up too. I was eating during
Wait,
this movie. I don't know why. That was a mistake.
isn't Uncle Chip played by Perkins? I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
Mhm.
the
was pretty
director
cool.
played Uncle Chip.
Yeah, that was cool.
Mhm.
Mine, honestly, isn't even a death. It was an injury. I hate anything have to do with your head. I don't like injuries on the face or the head because it's just sensitive. I mean, it's not your most sensitive place, but it's just like it's protecting important things in here.
Mhm.
Right.
And I literally freaked out when the ant fell off the stairs and she had a bunch of fish hooks in her face.
Mhm.
And I've seen so many videos of people like, throwing a line and accidentally getting like a fish hook in their neck or something. And it just creeps me out. I hate that. I hate that so much. But final verdict, book, short story, or the movie? Which one did you like better? I'll go Lindsay first this time.
I'm gonna have to go with the movie on this one, only because in the book they kill a cat and a dog.
I
Yeah.
can understand that,
No.
but I'm gonna say the short story is better.
Mm-hmm.
For the creepy, like, I was definitely way more creeped out by the short story than I was the movie, and I think that's okay. The movie was still entertaining in its own way. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't good, but for the creep factor, I like the creep factor of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, wondering if the monkey's still out there, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna have to go with movie on this one, personally. Um, I just think it was more entertaining and honestly more memorable, in my opinion.
It's definitely memorable.
Yeah. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but I thought it was pretty entertaining. It's not just because it has Theo James in it. Nobody say that, okay? He was only in it for like half the movie. All right, let's go for our question of the episode. So, my sister and I were having a conversation about things that really scared her in horror movies. And she sat down to watch this one with me and she is like, "Does this have scary eyes in it?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And then there were so many scenes of like the creepy eyes of the monkey and she was
Yeah.
so freaked out, especially that scene when in the window when he's looking at the reflection in the window and then he kind of sees the monkey because it's being reflected from behind him. I
Mhm.
hated that. So, I'm curious, like I was thinking about this, what element in a horror film genuinely terrifies you or makes you uneasy? We'll go to Crystal first.
Oh, this one, like, when you said this question, the first thing that popped in my head was like kids music or music
Mm,
boxes that are slightly off key that play real slow. That can't handle that. That I will, and we kind of saw that in Bly Manor with the O Willow Alley, but
mhm,
I'm talking about the ones that are like really creepy, like the carnival music played off key and minor keys and like, yeah, no.
yeah,
That's instant creep factor for me.
mhm, yeah, for sure. What about you, Lindsay?
So this might be kind of dumb, but something that really freaks me out every time is chainsaw noises or chainsaw.
Mm,
Specifically because of the video game Resident Evil 4. There's an enemy called Chainsaw Man. It scarred me for life. I can't do
mhm,
chainsaws.
mhm. Yeah, well, do you go to, like, haunted houses and stuff?
No.
I was gonna say, that's like every haunted house, that's like their main attraction is a chainsaw.
Yep.
That's like your worst nightmare.
Yep. Can't stand them.
Yeah. Mine would have to be, like, those moments where like, this is gonna be kind of specific, but, like, where you're looking down I'm just gonna give an example, but this is, like, the general vibe. You're, like, looking down a dark hallway, and something is just there, and then you look away, and you look back, and it's not there.
Yeah,
and then you look
that's
away
creepy.
again, and you just know it's gonna be in your face.
Mhm.
That freaking scares me, and it's usually, like, because honestly, the scariest things to me are, like, paranormal horror movies. Those ones are the scariest ones to me and really freak me out, or, like, a really scary, like, home invasion type movie really scares me, but yeah, like, that type that will get me every single time. I think it's like Haunting of Hill House, since we're talking about those. I think it was, like, the bent neck lady did
Mhm.
something like that, and it
Mhm.
really had me I started levitating. I really did. I think I jumped, like, 5 feet off the floor. Like,
Reminds
that
me of
really freaked me out.
those TikToks where people only move when you turn the lights off, and then you flip them back on, and they're different from where they
Yes!
were. Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm not gonna watch this. Mm-mm." Do you guys remember those oh my gosh, those games where it was like, "Find the dot on this page," and it's, like, really hard to find the dot, and you're, like, looking, and you go
And
to,
then
like, the
something.
next one, and then something pops up in your face?
Mhm.
I freaking
Yeah.
hate those.
I had
Yep.
a teacher do that to us in school.
Yeah, my
Here,
dad did that to us
here, watch this
once.
video.
Yeah,
I hate
horrible.
that.
Alright, and that brings us to the end of today's episode and another Stephen King adaptation to check off our list. We're getting through these. I can't wait till we get through, like, a ton, and then
Mhm.
eventually one day we'll have read the entire backlist. That'll be really cool.
That's a lot.
Yeah, we got this, we got this. Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who'd appreciate it. All of our socials are linked in the description, so let us know your reaction to this adaptation. Also, in our description, you will find our affiliate link to this audiobook on Libro FM. So, if you are audiobook listeners like us, be sure to check it out. And if you have any adaptations you would love to see us cover, our adaptation submission form is linked there as well. Until next time, maybe think twice before winding up any old toy monkeys you find in storage or at the thrift shop, because after this, I sure won't be. Add that to the scary things to avoid in the thrift shop. We will see you in the next chapter of Based on a Book. Bye.